getting to play mom and dad, which is interesting. Just trying to keep it all together, really. But today, with you, this is probably the first time that I've looked up.
As an actor, when you hear that you have an opportunity to work in a film directed by Lasse Hallström, I mean, were you like, check the box, I'm in, I got to work with this guy?
Yeah, that was probably the biggest tipping point for me, because when I first read it, I wasn't sure if I wanted. I mean, I'd always wanted to be a part of one of these movies, but if I couldn't somehow make it my own, if I couldn't figure out how to, if the character wasn't dynamic enough, if he was too perfect, I didn't want to fall into the trap of just playing, that guy. And the more I read another draft of the script, and I found out that Lasse was attached. How do you say no to that? Because he's gonna do a movie like this real justice. He's gonna tell the story honestly, and it's not gonna feel overly sentimental. And there's gonna be quirkiness about it, and all those things that I was hoping for from him, he delivered and more.
Yeah, and this one's different than other Nicholas Sparks adaptions because there's that thriller aspect.
Yeah.
Was that part of what sort of excited you about this?
Yeah. It felt darker, a little edgier than the other movies that I'd seen, and so and I think this audience is ready for that.
Yeah.
It's okay to be a little scary and a little bit dark and thriller-esque, because it still has all these elements that you would expect from one of these movies, but with this impending thing that's coming, and
right.
You know that it's going to come. And so every time you settle into this movie, you cut back to this other thing that's coming. So I'm excited for people to see it.
Well, and I heard you say when we were hanging out on set that you actually were first interested in the David Lyons role. Are you now glad that you ended up playing Alex in the long run?
Absolutely. When I first read the book, I was like, that's the character, that's the guy, because he's so maniacal and obsessive and sociopathic and just crazy that who wouldn't want to play that?
Right.
But you know what? David killed that part, literally. But he really, really did a great job, because it was a difficult balance to play this guy as obsessive and abusive as he was, but still somehow find a way to make him sympathetic, and I think he did that. But for me, in this character, I think that it was a true exercise in not hiding behind anything. You have a guy who could be very simple, and just really researching the psychology behind somebody who's lost his wife and is trying to raise two kids on their own, and there's a sadness and a loneliness to him, but there's also an optimism to him, and there's a discipline, and there's a love for these kids that none of that stuff is going to affect the way he raises them. And I found a lot more than I ever thought I could in this character.